Hello, it's me, Jack-a-Lopium. Welcome along. We are playing Graveyard Keeper, which is a graveyard management sim by Lazy Bear Games and published by Tiny Build. Let's jump in. It's kind of, well, we'll see. Let's jump in. I won't read aloud. You can see my previous game, 98 days. I still have no idea what I'm doing, really. Yeah, I won't read aloud. You can read it for yourself. So we're in the kind of real world, the world familiar to us. There's rain. A phone message from his lady love. So he's been hit by a car and he's come back round in a strange fog enshrouded. Your new home is a graveyard. So we ask him if the guy means we are dead. He says, no, it means you're a graveyard keeper. Well, he doesn't say no, so maybe we are dead. Who knows? There is some speculation to the lore of this game, in that maybe we are dead or dreaming or anything like that, but it's some kind of portal fiction. Our task is to go and locate somebody called Jerry. And the yellow pointer is the tutorial pointer. We've all seen one of these before in many games, but let's just follow the tutorial pointer. So we've unearthed a skull, a talking skull. We ask him if he's Jerry. We ask the skull if he's Jerry. A red arm, I remember. I'm Jerry, how did you find me? I must be dreaming, none of this can be real. But you're the new portal, you're the new, I was going to say portal keeper. You're the new graveyard keeper. Yeah, I don't know what portal keeper is. Just because I was halfway through my portal fiction thought, I guess. So every time I talk about portal fiction, I suppose the most famous of portal fictions is The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis, where they go through a portal from the real world to one of fantasy, high fantasy. So this is quite an angry donkey, works for a capitalist bastard. He only earns 5 carats a day. So the town he mentions, and that's highlighted. What a strange land this is. Yeah, I mean, talking donkeys. Grab that juicy corpse while it's still fresh. I feel like we should take it to the morgue, but I don't know why exactly. So Jerry is a skull and he has amnesia. So we use A to pick up and drop large items, corpses being a large item. But we'll see more large items which we can pick up and drop down in various places. So he's asking us to slice some flesh from the corpse. This isn't right, we say to him. Sure, it's not right. He replies, I'm a talking skull with amnesia. Nothing is right here. So he tells us that we need to trade our meat, giggity, in the village tavern for a beer. You can make your own jokes. I'm saying nothing. So we have unlocked a new technology, the technology which has allowed us a blueprint of a preparation place and a pallet, and it enables us to extract flesh, in brackets, from corpses. So let's extract this corpse. There you go. It's given us a meat fiesta. Human meat fiesta. We can create a burger, a sandwich, like a BLT I guess, or some baked meat. Where the B in the BLT is a hunk of long pig. It's human flesh. Take this corpse, I'll wait for you in the graveyard. So we kind of don't really know what's going on. Now flashbacks, like all true flashbacks, have raised more questions than they've answered. So our tutorial, the game is pretty good for bringing up these tutorial points. You can see like a -2. What does that refer to? We'll find out later, but it's there you go, we've got a +1 now. What does it all refer to? Who knows? Here comes the bishop. He's our boss. Ask him about the burial certificate, he should know. There you go. Jerry, our talking skull mentor, will be in the morgue waiting for his beer. Dimmy, I'm so tired. Why do I come here every week? So we can talk to him. He asked us to introduce ourselves. We've been expecting you for the last 30 years. I don't know exactly how that works. I guess this is a fantasy world, so... And there you go. So this is a tutorial card. Let's call them tutorial cards, yeah. Talking about location names and kind of location information, like graveyard quality, which is a skull in a kind of wreath. And church appeal. We did see the kind of freshly dug grave gave us a -2, and burying the corpse and filling the grave over with dirt has given us a +1 to this graveyard's beauty. Let's call it beauty, why not? I'll come again next week. In fact, I come here every and then there's a pictogram. Days here don't have names, so there is no Monday, Tuesday. They each have pictograms, and there are only 6 of them. That's pretty important to realise. We'll look at that more. He told us that he arrives here and then it was the pictogram of a sun. So much like in the real world, you know, the bishop, the religious kind of stuff happens on a sun day. So we're going to call that day Sunday, I think. So we'll laugh at his poor jokes. So yeah, I'll let you read all of this every time we bury somebody, we get a burial certificate, and we then trade that in. So there you go. This is how the game progresses. We have a system of technologies. So there you go. We get one or more of kind of red dots, green dots, or blue dots. Red dots are representative of handcrafting. Green points are a representation of nature. And blue points are a representation of spiritual knowledge and the immaterial world. Those are quite difficult to come by. But we need to craft a study table to start getting blue technology dots. And we're going to be mainly concerned with red and green technology dots. And we've unlocked technology, we've unlocked the ability to construct a stone stockpile and the ability to gather stone. It's nicely called the concept of stone. We also have the concept of wood, which allows us to build a timber stockpile and to gather small trees and sticks. And this is the technology tree. We will be we've got in the top right hand corner of this panel, it shows that we have 0 red dots, 1 green dot and 0 blue dots. This is how we pay to unlock various technologies, which also fall into the category of building, cooking, smithing, farming, book writing, theology, and anatomy and alchemy. And like I say, we're going to be concerned initially with only red and green dots. All the technologies, the initial technologies, seem to be in red and green dots only. It's only when we get to, about halfway through, probably a quarter of the way through the tree, we start to then be concerned with blue technology dots. But we're not going to worry about that now. We are going to take the previous graveyard keeper's items out of his chest. We're not going to do anything. The way the game manages its gameplay loop is it deals with energy. And energy equates to a number of, I'm going to call them time units. But you can see in the top left hand corner there is a wheel with 6 pictograms of days around it. This one being the pictogram of sun or Sunday. And to the right of that there is a blue bar, and that's our energy levels. We kind of don't want to spend any energy levels unnecessarily. We have 2 people to talk to. This is the town. I'll show you the map really quickly. This is the map of the world that we know about. We have the graveyard where we live to the left of the map, and further to the right we have the village, which is where we are. The middle of which is the pub. I'll show you what the pub looks like. It's the Dead Horse Tavern. The Dead Horse becomes quite integral to our work because I'll show you in a minute. So we're talking to somebody called Miss Chain. You can see or Mrs. Chain, Hordrick's wife. You can see the NPC's name in the top right hand corner, and under it is a kind of smiley face with a 0 written next to it. That's, well, we'll see the tutorial card eventually. Every NPC basically has a 0 to 100 rating of favour, kind of favour rating. We start at 0 for every single NPC, and I guess it's one of our kind of sub jobs to kind of raise our stand-in with each various NPC. So he's telling us, or he's mentioning to us, that as soon as you, us, open the church, pilgrims will bring lots of shiny coins to the village. So I guess we're going to be in charge of the church as well as the graveyard. So we ask him what year it is. He doesn't seem to know what we're talking about. Hey, he says we've been listening to the astrologer's notes. Everybody knows that the earth is flat, he says. It's 200 after the ancient contract and 210 after... never mind. The kingdom is what our kingdom is called, and the village of the village is where we are. He asks us, before we're allowed to trade with him, he asks us if we can take this letter to the blacksmith. Alright, let's crack on. So we can trade every burial certificate we get, and that's going to be the kind of main method of us earning money at the beginning of the game, really. Let's go and talk to the blacksmith. He mentioned, Hordrick mentioned he's in the bottom right hand corner of the village. And here he is, Creswold. I think I'm the keeper of a local graveyard. Unfortunately, I'm a local blacksmith. So we give him the letter that we got from Hordrick, the tavern owner. Slimes again. He mentions slimes, which are troubling him. He gives us a rusty sword and an energy potion. But first, before we can use our sword, we will have to sharpen it, well, repair it and then sharpen it. There you go. There's a tutorial for energy. Different actions in the game spend your energy, which is represented by a kind of blue lightning symbol. Crafting, gathering and fighting take energy. Sleeping will restore your health and your energy. There you go. There's our sword. So we sharpen our sword on the grindstone. So yeah, each individual swing costs energy. You saw our energy gauge go down as we swung our sword. So even sword swings are kind of governed by the energy mechanic. We need to be very careful about how we spend our energy. We asked me about metal ore, I should say, using English and not a Luton tea. There you go. We've unlocked a new technology and we've got a blueprint for a furnace. We can create an iron ingot and we can gather swamp iron. We can trade with this guy. He sells the whetstones. They're very expensive. They're 10 silver. And basically we got 1 silver and 50 bronze from trading that one single burial certificate. So we're going to need to bury about 8 people before we can even afford a whetstone. So I think we are done. We should go back to the inn and tell Hordrick that we've delivered his letter. I'm always wandering off. It's good that you know how to use a sword, he says to us. Cresswell told me that you helped him. Have a beer. It's on the house. We don't have any more business with this guy. We really just needed the beer for Jerry. It's just a set of nested fetch quests. So you might think that the village and the graveyard are built quite far apart, and I'm sure that's deliberate and designed to be that way, as the whole game revolves around kind of time measurement, both days and nights, and time/energy units. So Jerry has met us outside on the path. Sard, you're stealing my thoughts, he says. Stealing, I remember. There's a cellar in your cottage. Some provisions must be stored there. And so we've unlocked new technology of kind of basic gathering and also bread making. Bring me beer and I'll tell you a lot of important stuff like how to get home. Let's ask him how we can get home. Maybe he knows. But he tells us it was a rhetorical question. So let's carry on to the morgue, which is where he hangs out. Give him the beer. There you go, we've got 20 favour points. We need to get that to 100, 100 being the max for every NPC. Let's ask him some questions about getting home. I'm sure there's a portal on Witch Hill. We ask him if we need to turn it on and he tells us that he doesn't really remember. He's not sure where his knowledge is coming from as he has no brain inside his skull. And there is a library in the church's cellar. Also, we hear tell of the astrologer again. So he's been mentioned twice, so I'm guessing he's kind of important. Okay, so bring me some wine. So not satisfied with his beer, he wants some wine this time. Don't quite know how he can get drunk on beer or wine since he has no brain, which he's already told us. And there you go. So we need to figure out what we need to do. Everywhere we go seems to be kind of run down. Here is the inside of the corpse hatch, which needs 2 stone and 4 simple iron parts. We have neither. This guy also needs some of our precious simple iron parts, and it's something called flitch, which may be some kind of maybe carpenters know more about this, but it seems to be some kind of pro. So I think what our first task should probably be is tidying up this darn graveyard. Do we think? Oh gosh. So much work to do. Thankfully, if we clear these bushes out, it gives us the first resource, which is kind of wooden sticks. And it says we need to get the church to +5. We're at -25 at this precise moment. So we are not going to get to +5 for quite some time. It's asking us to put a graveyard or a grave fence, of which we have neither. We do have a couple of wooden and stone repair kits. We've got 4 of each, I believe. So let's fix this grave site. There you go. I can speak the English. There you go. Every time we repair a grave, it adds to our overall quality of the graveyard. We are very soon going to run out of time units. I think we probably leave that as a day's work, and the way to replenish our time units is to, if you remember from the tutorial card, was that we have to go to sleep in this here bed. There are a couple of other beds dotted around the map, but this is the main one in our happy home. Oh no, we're so refreshed, but we've woken up, or been woken up, by the moanings of a ghost. So we introduce ourselves as the new graveyard keeper. A kipper, he says. No, a keeper. We're not a kipper. So we unfortunately are nameless. But I'm going to call this graveyard keeper Francesco. He's a cemetery man. And his name is Francesco Delamore. Or Delamorte, I should say. It was his mother's maiden name, which was Delamore. So yeah, comment below if you understand what I'm talking about. So he's given us an exhumation permission, and he's asked us to do him a favour. The favour being a little bit shady. He wants us to dig up a corpse that's been making his life or death a misery. But we want to keep the dead on our side because we don't want them coming back. So this is the grave site that he told us about, being occupied by an unfriendly spirit. There you go. Let's grab the newly exhumed corpse. Unfortunately, that's added to the overall ugliness of our graveyard. So we've also taken the corpse and thrown it in the river, which is probably runs counter to our duties. And there we go. We're confronted by Jerry. tells us that that people like Yorick, or ghosts like Yorick, can't do anything to us because they're disembodied, whereas he can bite us to death while we're sleeping. So we're going to ask him about the river and the body. Need a fire and some wood. Where can I burn it? We ask him. We need a nice quiet place, he reassures us, like the place I use for my meditation. Across the road from the mortuary entrance near the cliff. And there you go, it's given us a tutorial card, possibly one that I've already spoilt for people, talking about each important character who Francesco, us, meets will appear on the character screen. The character's moved from 0 smileys to 100 smileys. It's shown below the character. The tasks related to a character are listed to the right of the character. Some services require a certain level of smiley. So the bishop is going to, as you can see from the top right, it's the first. Well, he lists us as an NPC, I guess, but lists us at the top left-hand corner and Jerry in the top right-hand corner. But the bishop is below us. And his motto is pray, preach, and look like you won the lottery. And he, of course, reiterates from this screen that we need to reach +5 at the graveyard. This also shows us Donkey and the blacksmith and Hordrick, the tavern keeper, and also Yorick at the bottom there, the ghost who we met. So I'm going to just, as we walk back to our home, I'm just going to chip away at some stone. What can we do here? Nothing. Yeah, I don't think we have too many. Yeah, we won't be able to fully repair all of these grave sites. But we'll try and get as far as we can. We're going to need 2 repair kits to fix this graveyard. The other thing we could do is we could just take off all of the unrepaired grave markers and fences. I don't know if that will. Yeah, we're out of both styles of repair kits right now, so they didn't last us long. I think we should maybe build our first workstation. Let's just gather up some more materials while we clear out our the front of our gaff. So yeah, what was it that inspired me to play Graveyard Keeper? It was a friend of mine who runs the channel Social Anxiety Gaming. I'll put a link in the description. He's been playing Stardew Valley both live and not live videos. And it seems that it's quite a good little format that he runs. So I'm shamelessly copying a friend of mine. Hopefully with his blessing. There you go. I'm just going to clear all of this out until we run out of... Oh no, we can't chop down that tree, unfortunately. Yeah, we'll probably need to sleep before we can build our first workstation. Let's run out of time units. Yeah, we're out of time units. So let's sleep to refresh those. Yeah, and like I say, the circle to the top left hand corner not only shows us the day and night kind of cycle, but it also shows us the 6 days of the Graveyard Keeper week. I'm still so sad, so lonely, he says. Yeah, I mean, you should watch Social Anxiety Gaming. His channel is very good. He puts out some very good quality content. And his tweets are hilarious, so he's well worth following on Twitter. There you go. So it puts up another tutorial card. It tells us about graves. This is quite a complicated thing that it's telling us, and it's one that I don't necessarily 100% even understand even after 98 days. Is that human remains can be made up of either good parts or bad parts, either red skulls or white skulls. If we say take off his skin as a resource, his skin becomes a red part, which we can then supposedly replace with extra parts. So this is our blueprint desk, and this is the tutorial card for building, etc, etc, etc. So what do we want? We've already got a timber and a stone stockpile. We don't need to increase the yard space just yet. We could probably do with, opening some more technologies. So let's see if we can do that right now. We probably need to get a sawhorse. We do have 28 reds and 22 green dots. So let's do that. We've created ourselves, we've got ourselves the sawhorse blueprint. Let's get a chopping spot as well. Oops. One thing I will do as well is, what do we want? Skin or blood and fat? Let's grab ourselves, because we're going to need both of these, because skin and fat become early game kind of resources. I know it's a little bit morbid. The reason why I wanted to chip away at some more stone was it was telling us we needed more. And there is my alarm. So unfortunately, I think we're gonna have to build ourselves a sawhorse. Yeah, we are gonna have to. Look more at building our workstations in the next episode. So hope you enjoyed it, and see you Wednesday for some more Graveyard Keeper. Remember to like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed Graveyard Keeper, and I will be able to carry on delivering some hopefully good quality gameplay footage and classic movies. So bye for now.
Isn't that immoral?